Hi, my name is Craig Maki, and I am here to tell you about my dad. Walter Maki grew up in northern Minnesota with my mom, went to Evelyn High School and graduated in the class of 66. I bet they dated a good 10 years prior to that day. After graduating high school, they went to college together, spent their last couple of years at St. Cloud State before moving to Minneapolis to start a career and raise a family. My dad had worked for the same company for many years, working his way up the corporate ladder, ultimately becoming VP of operations and manufacturing, and really doing a tremendous job. Ultimately, he always wanted to own his own company and made a run at doing so a couple of times. Got close a couple of times. He was trying to buy a company that he came very close with. Ultimately, the deal did not go through, and Dad took it really hard. I remember my mom coaching us a bit on Dad and just meaning, he's down. But listen, I was 14, sister was 11. We didn't think much more than just giving him hugs and wishing him well. Dad's Suburban was still in the garage, and we came in, and I went to the kitchen, and Joe went to go say hi to Dad, and we found him. My dad had killed himself in his bedroom, and Jill and I found him that day. All I can remember is that people just started showing up at the house, ambulance, police, neighbors. I remember looking out the window and seeing my mom in the driveway, talking to a policeman and her just collapsing. And I don't fault my dad because I don't believe he would have done what he did if he could see it, but he couldn't see it. And from an illness perspective, that's very real, that when someone's in that position, they just don't know. I just regret at that time not thinking about my mom and dad on a pedestal like I should have. Because in the guilt now is more focused around missing major events, things like, just college, my first job, my marriage, grandkids, those types of things that he's not here for and that my kids will never know. My wife never met my dad, and maybe that's a personal thing, I guess, because I wish he was here for those things. If there was one thing that I would shout out loud, it would be, as cliche as this may sound, but just talk. Just get your feelings outside of you. It manifests, and eventually it gets to the point where my dad was, which is being incapable of seeing what was on the other side. And I can imagine that if you felt that way, and you're blinded to a better day, if you're suffocating from the illness that is depression. I know that I may have some of that depression that my dad had within me, and being aware is most important, because I think that awareness has allowed me to manage it in a manner that doesn't allow it to develop to the point where it did with my dad. I remember being incredibly grateful for the things that I did have. And I think today, more than ever, how grateful I am for my wife, my 3 children, over just the whole family,